Take their seats, and so we can give law enforcement a second to close doors and set up. Doors will remain open. It's a public event, anyone can come in, but just once everyone's settled. Welcome delegates. Again, to reiterate, I'd like all delegates to sit on the first row. That way it's just easier when we're running through them. Anyone else, you can sit wherever you want. We'll start at XX03, unless there's any further disturbances. Okay. Can someone escort this firefighter out? SS or Allied Universal. Can someone escort the firefighter out? Yeah, get off the stage, buddy. Once everything's clear up here. You don't have to leave completely, just please get off the stage. We're starting. Okay, we'll get started. As the national chairperson, I hereby call this national convention to order. Before we begin, please rise. Actually, no, I forgot to ask about that. AB, would you like to play the national anthem? Is AB is not in this VC. Let me go to him. Is he up here? Give us a second. We do have flags, so think about. Okay, I'm just getting Aura formed at the moment, so Aura diff, I guess. So we'll just skip the national anthem. Thank you everyone for coming here today to attend the first Union Party National Convention, at least in a while. We gather here today for a moment of reflection and celebration. While I intend to go into both our successes and failures as a party and in Congress later in the event, I believe it first be fitting to immediately dive into business and call on today's delegates to ceremonially confirm our candidate for the office of President and Vice President of the United States. Emerging from an uncontested, extremely strenuous battle in the primaries, the leaders of the Forge Ahead campaign stand in this room today, ready to receive our finalized and ceremonial decision. I ask that the delegates here today please stand up. I'll ask each of you to vote one by one. The vote is to officially / ceremonially confirm the Forge Ahead campaign, that is Ender Mastery as our candidate for the offices of President of the United States, and Aethesius Lynn as our candidate for the office of Vice President of the United States, as the campaign that will contend this election under the UP banner, backed by our support and intended on victory. So could each delegate, those in the front row, except Abu, stand up? And of course our nominees. So that's Senator Private Teddy, the Honourable Madam President, and Representative C.C. Perkins. I can't hear. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to call on each one of you. So the vote is aye or nay or abstain to ceremony approve of the nomination. Let me just check a ping real quick. Yeah, don't worry. Mr. Likely, Mr. Roner, please cast your vote. Oh, there we go. Senator Private Teddy. Mr. J. Fong. And finally, Representative C.C. Perkins. Seeing an unanimous decision, the ayes have it, and the Forge Ahead campaign is now officially and ceremonially confirmed as the UP candidate for the presidential office this election. Congratulations, delegates, you may have your seats. We shall now move to the speeches section of today's itinerary, where I will begin. I'd like to thank everyone again for coming out. Give me a few minutes to talk about UP's current performance in general and in Congress, and to discuss its past and future. The Union Party has been a party nothing short of dominance for the last few years, holding a nearly breakless majority in both chambers and usually holding the office of President and Vice President. However, admittedly, the party has been underperforming in the Senate in terms of our ability to gain seats. This is because it has been increasingly difficult to find those committed on running for a Unionist Senate seat. While we have temporarily lost our majority because of this, I am mainly unfazed, as UP still holds an air of expertise and experience in the Senate, and if new aspiring congressmen ever show up, I'm confident that UP will regain its majority. The Liberty Party, under its now competent leadership of Kirst Vision, has been majorly pleasant to work with, usually reaching out for input. In the House, we still retain a majority while promoting bipartisanship, with Speaker Likely fostering a house of activity and increased public engagement. I am pleased with the state of our party, despite our shortcomings in retaining a majority in the upper chamber. The UP, while holding majorities in each chamber, was traditionally a close-kept party with no outreach events, democratic elections, and displayed a level of partisanship I was ashamed of. The caucuses were built less on mutual input, but rather a follow-the-leader attitude, even when the leader was very wrong. This created a climate that allowed the then recently revamped Freedom FPP to LP to take several strides in seats, going from near zero to almost even. I prefer a climate of bipartisanship where members of the caucus can freely give their input and learn from all members of the chamber, than one where this was not true but we had a few more seats to boast. After months of trying to promote elections in UP, their addition has been majorly successful in ensuring a democratic and evolving party, allowing for events such as these and a national committee relevant to leading officials in the party, unlike its former self. UP has had a majorly successful progression over the last few months, fostering a more positive and engaging Congress and party, despite our technical setbacks. I look forward to the future where new enthusiastic members will take up roles in either caucus of the party, learning from our current members who have both the ability and aptitude to mentor. This is the climate that I and my colleagues are striving to create, not one where UP leaders remain eternally in control, unlike the party's former self. I'm confident in the confirmation of the Forge Ahead campaign. I've spent many months in Congress with both President candidate Ender Mastery and Vice President candidate Aethesius Lynn. My time at Ender Mastery led me to entrust him with Speaker for the month I was away. Ender Mastery, time and time again, has proven to me his experience and competence not only in Congress. I am confident in his ability to effectively lead this nation into its next chapter. Athesius Lin led LP through their transition from FPP to LP with FunZone, creating a party able to stand up to us, fostering a positive, competitive environment in Congress, while also showcasing his ability in promoting bipartisanship. He and caucuses led by him have been quicker to reach out than some UP colleagues, to the point where I sometimes forget his party. I feel with the utmost confidence that Athesius Lin is the best addition to the current climate of the Senate, would like to use a refresher of bipartisan collaboration on legislation and events, an area that he has exceeded in his countless months in both chambers. Before I pass the mic to someone actually worth listening to, I'd like to reiterate my endorsement for their campaign. Both Ender Mastery and Athesius Lin are extremely competent individuals capable of actually turning a chapter in OSF USA. We have seen a change in Congress, a change in the party, showcasing the constant ability of members of this group to bring something new to parts of this group. I believe that the individuals presented before the delegation today are two men capable of both the competence and ability to bring new ideas and concepts to the executive branch, fostering continuous positive change and activity. I call on both UP and LP, especially considering their lack of an LP candidate, to look at this election's candidates beyond that of party allegiance and rivalry, but rather to look at the potential and positive impact on the group as a whole. I call on members of LP, what do you care about more? An independent, non-UP administration lacking the ability to foster a fun, competent, and active community, or successful, proficient office holders that happen to have UP beside their name? I call on not just LP, but all citizens of the United States, whether you're near the volcanoes of Hawaii or the tundras of Alaska, to consider who is actually capable of guiding the next step of your nation. Who will meet foreign threats? Who will protect domestic interests? Who will take a leap in creating a country that benefits you? I believe there to be only one answer, and I hope that Americans, red, blue, white, or black, will join me in this conclusion as we approach a term that will be unlocked with positivity and led with experience and competence. I will now pass the mic to Madam President Wargard, but she's having some difficulties, so she might need to use text. I'm not sure.
Okay, is it working now? Okay. Jesus. I had to tactically leave the other call I was in with my friend, so I have to keep this brief, unfortunately. First of all, thank you for having me here. Me and Ed have spent the last two terms working with the Union Party and the LP in order to get shit done. With that being said, I'm not going to speak too much about the Union Party because that would have been more suited for Ed, and we just heard lovely speech from Voxus for about 5 minutes there, so I'm not going to reiterate anything he said. In terms of selecting the next candidate to succeed me in ideally winning this election, I see no better candidate than Ender Mastery in terms of running for the next presidential election. I do apologize. I did not pre-write anything. I did not have the time, so you're going to have to deal with me winging it. One of the things that Ed and I ran on was continuing this community forward and ensuring that the next generation would be able to not only pick off where we left off, but just to make sure that the community itself was alive. And I'm happy to say that we've successfully been able to sustain our community through activity, new events, and hell, we have this going on. Now we have people outside of the administration that are creating new events between C-SPAN hosting their their convention yesterday, and now the Union Party creating an entirely new event type that we haven't seen before. I'm not claiming to take credit for either of those for the record, but just seeing that we have a thriving community that is creating their new ideas and willingly bringing life into different areas where the White House obviously cannot. That is so fucking important for OSF, and I'm very happy to see that we're doing this. And I have full confidence that Ender not only shares my ideologies on what the president's role should be in terms of being more of a community caretaker than just a Lego politician. Our role as president, for anyone who's held this role or will hold this title, it's not just the job. It's more than that. It's you have to not only take care of the departments, but OSF as a whole, right? When the president gets on, people are more willing to be on, right? When you see the Secretary of State on, DSS gets on, you see that activity coming just from details and shit. When we had an administration that had no events, that was barely on, and just was overall inactive, we've seen a decline in that activity. And I know for ideally that the next people that succeed us, ideally being our Union Party candidates, will be able to maintain that ideology. And ideally, we'll do a pretty solid job. So congratulations to them for winning the nomination. And I will give it back over to Voxus because I have to hop into the other VC because I told them I was having technology problems and I fucking lied to them. And I feel awful. So Godspeed.
Thank you, War. Let me just check that my mic's actually on. Yeah, it is. Okay. Now we're going to hear from our two successful candidates. May I first introduce your vice presidential candidate, Athesius Lynn?
Good evening, all. I'd like to thank the Union Party delegation for their ceremonial nomination and certainly accept the nomination to be this party's vice presidential candidate. Our campaign will hold true to our policies outlined and what we've said so far. If elected, I look forward to working together with both UP, LP, and independent senators and working with the Speaker of the House to ensure cooperation in regards to legislation and relations with the public. As I've stated before, I intend on working as both an advisor to senators and encouraging them to reach out to the public to get more inspiration for legislation. I would recommend them to get a Senate parliamentarian, as I've spoken multiple times before, as it has seen great success and usage in the House. I'll work to ensure there's a strong line of open communication between our administration and congressional leadership. This will be achieved by making sure to include congressmen in events and to continue doing things like congressional balls. We will work for transparency through encouraging congressmen to continue hosting press conferences, alongside increasing the amount of press conferences from our administration. We seek to be able to not only hear the voices of the people, but to take action based on what they say. We hope to be connected with people through community involvement in game nights. We firmly believe that the new people are the future of OSF, and that they should be encouraged to pursue positions in the group. With both myself and Ender only being here for around a year and a half, which is longer than some, but not longer than most, we certainly understand some of the challenges that newcomers have, and we plan on fostering a community where they feel welcome and have the needed information available to them. I would like to thank the President and Voxus for their speeches prior, and I hope to continue working alongside them. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Athesius Lynn. Check it, please. Now, for the man you've been waiting for, I present to you presidential candidate Ender Mastery.
All right. I assume you can hear me. Looks like everything's good. So hello, everybody. I'd like to start off by saying that I do formally accept the ceremonial nomination from this Union Party and its delegates to be the presidential candidate, and with the necessary trust and commitment, the 29th President of these United States of America. I also thank the President for her endorsement of myself and Mr. Athesius Lynn. As our campaign has made clear thus far, we are looking forward to forging ahead into the future of this group. This cannot be done just by an action of myself or my vice presidential candidate, but by the collective of everyone, both present with us today and not present. This nation has seen many changes throughout its history, some good and some bad, some empowering and others destructive. But regardless, it is through forging ahead that we continue into the endless future of progress. I appreciate those who were at our campaign rally that we held and look forward to more events in the future as we approach the election. This campaign is meant to be transparent and is meant to be open for the people to engage with, both in-game and over Discord, with questions and concerns. We intend to carry over the principles of interactivity and engagement into our administration if we should be elected. I would like to thank the President for all that she has done within her nearly 4 months of service to this nation, as well as her past contributions to this nation in other positions. And I look forward to seeing what the President and her administration do in these remaining 13 days. The day that there is no progress left to be made within the group is the day that we have failed in our government and administration. It is through discovering new ideas and listening to the community that we open doors to new and bold concepts. I have said several times throughout this campaign season that this is not an administration that will function separately or alone, but rather one that will be supported with advisory and open to public communications. We're going to move for a second here. All right, looks like we're clear again. Sorry about that interruption for anyone who's just listening and is not actively in game. But yeah, so it is our objective to ensure an enduring, efficient, and active Justice Department that commits itself to integrity and transparency to the highest degree. Without a lasting justice system and a sustainable department, there is no true balance in government. It is our objective to ensure a firm, effective, and elite Department of Homeland Security to defend our nation, both domestic and abroad. It is our objective to ensure a strong, unwavering, and interactive State Department to execute necessary foreign policy and foster an imposing international environment. On this military day, it is our objective and promise to our nation's military that we will stand with you and we will provide you opportunities, and we will ensure a dedicated Defense Department that projects the power and capability of the U.S. military. These commitments and objectives that I have listed are what every person should expect from a president and vice president, working to support the executive branch and our national security through our intelligence community as a whole and being an administration for the people. We intend to carry over unfinished and unexecuted plans of the WarGuard administration, especially the concept that was talked about previously at the former debate as well, which is the Olympics. If development agrees with this and support is achieved, we will proceed further. To close, I would like to thank both the Union Party and its chairman, Mr. Baucus Lynn, as well as the President of the United States, and all those who are attending either in-game or through VC. I look forward to engaging with everyone as we forge ahead down this road toward the election and beyond. Thank you all, and God bless the United States of America. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Presidential Candidate Ender Mastery, for that great speech. Thank you, everyone, for listening to those speeches. Before we adjourn, I shall leave the floor momentarily open for any member of the Union Party or delegate to motion to propose changes to Unionist Charter. Please note that an extensive review is to be done in the near future to create a charter we actually properly follow, but if anyone has any changes or issues, feel free to speak up now. Someone's jumping up. I don't know who they are. Never mind. Do you wish, Rick? Okay, we'll ignore them. Hearing none. Okay, hearing none. Thank you finally for coming out today. I would also like to extend my thanks to our President WarGuard for making an availability in her extremely busy schedule to come here to speak. Candidates Ender Mastery and Ethezius Lynn for accepting their nomination and speaking today. C-SPAN for taking the time to record, and Ancient Blue for making this possible. May UP and OSF USA continue this level of success. I hereby adjourn this national convention. You can find seats for tea and coffee outside where you may stay and chat for now. That will be all.